Welcome everybody to our final project of Group 5. Here our presentation is on the relationship between crime and income levels in the Tampa Bay region. Our table of contents include our objective, our data sets, our data cleaning process involving those data sets, our statistical analysis, the graphs, our Shiny app module, our findings, the implications and recommendations, and finally our conclusions. To start, our objective is just to find the connections between median income, crime rate in the Tampa Bay area to see if there's a relationship between the two, whether one affects the other or not. Our goals specifically are to identify areas with higher crime rates, likewise areas with lower income levels, to visualize the spatial distribution of crime rates and income levels, and chiefly to investigate potential correlations between income, crime rate, and location. Alrighty, let's get to it. To begin with, we managed to get our data from Module 4 of this class. We spliced together two data sets into one, and we called it the final data sheet. Within this final data sheet, you can find several variables, namely zip, median, mean, population, the city, the state, latitude and longitude points, the dispatch, the description, which is the type of the crime, the address, the grid, which are the zones, and the report number. With this data set, we managed to get all the relevant info we need to garner insights. To explain our data cleaning process, first we have to filter solely in the Tampa Bay region because our data set does include several other cities on top of Tampa, which is a little too broad for the scope of this presentation. So we just narrowed down to the Tampa area. And the first order is to get the number of crimes per zip code and the crime rate per zip code. With these two things, which can make the relationship between income levels and crime rates much more intuitive. All right. And this is the code and how that was done. As you can see, crime count and crime rate right there. Those two variables were not in the original data set. They had to be created, and they are very integral for the next visualizations that you'll be seeing. All right. Okay. So to begin with, to see if there is any meaningful correlation between median income levels and the crime rate, we have to run some statistical analysis, and we happen to choose linear regression. Here we have a plot on the x-axis, the median income levels in dollars, range from 0 all the way to, I believe it's 96,000 at the very top, and the crime rate, which is from 0 all the way to 0.03. Now you can see a pattern here where the lower the median income rate, there's this grouping of dots. It's not a perfect relationship where the correlation rate is like 99% or it's pretty much like a straight line, 1-to-1 ratio, but it's a little rough. But if you run a summary model on it, you can see there is a clear and distinct relationship, which you can see right here. So run the LM function built into R, where we put the crime rate as the dependent variable and the median income as the explanatory variable. And out of that, we get the summary right here, where our F statistic is 26.53 and our p-value is that right there, which implies that our model, it is not I mean, it does not explain the relationship perfectly, but it is deemed significant enough. So, in conclusion, the median income is a significant contributor to the model. And as you can see, we have the adjusted R-squared values and the standard errors. All right, on to the visualizations. Here, our first graph displays the mean income and the crime rate. So the mean income, we have both variables, the mean income and the median income. The mean income seems to have a larger spread than the median, but not by much. So here we have crime rate all the way up to 0.03 and mean income all the way up to, I believe it's a little over 130. And the relationship between crime rate and income level is fairly intuitive here. The grouping becomes less apparent the further right you go, meaning the higher the mean income levels go, the less likely you are to have a higher crime rate. This is what this graphic displays. And here you have that overlaid on an actual map where the relationship between the size of the circles insinuates the crime rate, meaning smaller circle, smaller crime rate, larger circle, larger crime rate. And the hues here, we have the color red as the highest mean income rate, and the deep blue as the lowest. So a dark blue indicates low incomes, and a vivid red indicates a high income area. All right. The relationship is not precise, but you can get a glimpse of how the larger circles tend to be more blue in color than the red ones. All right. Now we're on to our Shiny application. All right. So everybody, here we have our Shiny app application where it is a direct overlay of the Tampa map. And in fact, we can change it to any city listed here, or you can just have it set to all the cities included here. As I said, our data set includes several cities outside of Tampa, but for this presentation and for the scope of our project, we decided to focus on Tampa itself. So let's toggle that to Tampa. There we go. And for the crime, you can be specific with what you're looking for. But for now, let's just stick with all crimes. All right, so I went ahead and entered 70,000 as the minimum median income, and the maximum I left it at its actual maximum, which happens to be at this value right there, 96,000. Now, as you can see, at a minimum median income level of 70,000, which is very high, the crime circles are not that apparent. It's very isolated within this area of West Tampa and South Tampa, and some right there. But if I change the minimum median income down to 12,000, which happens to be the poverty level, you start to notice more incidences, which insinuates that the lower you go in median income levels, there is a tendency to have higher crime rates, which has been consistent so far with our findings within the presentation. All right, that concludes our Shiny app module. All right, that concludes our Shiny app module. Next, we have our findings. So, in summary, through our linear regression models, we have shown that there is potential correlation between income levels and crime rates. And through our visualizations, we were able to provide intuitive insights between the relationship of socioeconomic factors and crime rates. And this, in turn, helps us understand how income disparities may contribute to crime levels in certain neighborhoods. And why is this important? Well, this gives us context as to how we can develop targeted interventions to better address these challenges instead of just shooting in the dark. Again, implications and recommendations. All right, here we have the implications of our findings so far. You can allocate resources better, and you can make targeted interventions instead of just broad sweeping strokes that may have minimal impacts. And with this, you can help address poverty at its source, maybe allocating more funding into education, which is a reliable way to reduce poverty. And with our findings, you can also better allocate law enforcement with areas known to have higher crime rates. And with this understanding between income rates and crime rates, more informed decisions can be made, public safety can be improved, and in turn, a better quality of life can be had for all residents, rich or poor. The end. All right, I'd like to thank my partners, Sarah, Camilo, myself, Jared, and Rita. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for tuning in so far, and I hope you all have a happy end of the semester. Again, thank you.